Hey, what's going on? This is Madden Money Shot. First off, I'd like to thank you for purchasing my Madden 19 Saints ebook, whether you purchased the full video or the ebook itself. If you have any questions or have trouble downloading this, please contact me with my contact information at the top of MaddenMoneyShot.com's website. Other than that, if you're watching the video, just continue watching, and if you have the ebook, click the first link so we can get started. So first up, out of the single back wing tight, we have the PA boot left. This play here, I like it just like this. Not a lot of adjustments. The idea is this guy gets open, but I was hoping that the other tight end will get off his block a little bit quicker. The triangle route is a check and release setup, and he usually comes open underneath all the coverages for an easy catch and run, which makes this play kind of cheesy. Yeah, every round this play should get open. The circle route would be really good against cover 3s, as I'm waiting for him to clear. It's also cover 2 as it doinks off his back, but you can see he was wide open. Next up, out of the single back wing tight, we have the halfback stretch. This play, I like to run this play by motion snapping Thomas, just sending him to the other side of the field. If it's a zone coverage, you'll get a blocking advantage. I tried to motion snap him there, it didn't quite work out, but you can see how just getting an extra block just gets you a couple more yards. I also like to flip it back so that if you're running it the first way a lot, your opponent won't expect it when you motion snap and hike, and then you just, you know, have a much better run to the other side. Next, out of the single back wing tight, I have the PA flood. This play is best run from one hash mark. Yeah, this play here, all I'm going to do is drag Watson, and you're playing the second tight end off the running back for the most part. As you can see, Bobby Wagner is just all over that anyway, but I still get 10 yards. Can't cover everybody. He's a glitch. So next, we're gonna do this one more time. This triangle route is a man beater. As you can see there, I mean, he had tight coverage, but it's Bobby Wagner. What are you going to do? Next up, out of the single back wing tight, we have the PAFL stretch. This play right here, you can run it just like this. Some people like the concept. It's kind of like a bench switch over there. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'll run it like this one time, see if I can make the correct read. As you can see, yeah, we definitely have a wide open tight end over there, so it's not a bad option. But that tight end should be open pretty much anyway. I like to put the hill on a slant, and now you're going to see how these routes kind of work against one another. I like a little bit more spacing too, so you can motion this guy out if you prefer, but it's not necessarily the only way to run it. As you can see, it just kind of creates a little bit more of a throwing lane for this tight end. And you can also do the motion block with the receiver to kind of keep this play uniform with other plays. Oh, that was just overthrown slightly. Yeah, I recommend the motion block just to make it look like the run plays out of this formation. Kind of gives this guy inside leverage too to get the touchdown there. Next up, out of the single back wing pair, we have the PA Experts cross. So all we're gonna do is drag R1. You can block the circle route too. You know, it's not really one of my reads. It's all the reads are to the right side or the left side of the field. But when you do this, you really have, you know, 2 levels of passing. I totally forgot to do the tight end that time, but it's okay because obviously you don't need to. Did I just juke Bobby Wagner? No, it was somebody else. But the circle route really isn't doing much. So like I said, just block him. And no, like I said, I like the drag. It just kind of creates a throwing lane. He also is an option too, so don't forget about him. Next up, out of the single back wing pair, we have the PA tight end seam. So all I'm going to do is drag the circle route, cancel the play action, and then it's going to have, you know, a high and low with the tight ends. The R1 route here should work against cover 3s, but it's mostly about the 2 tight ends, the circle and the X. The R1 route might also work against cover 2s because he is kind of up the seam there. But you're probably going to have to safe catch that. Yeah, I would say blocking the running back pre-snap is not a bad idea, and motioning out too to get some time is not a bad idea. Next up, out of the single back ace, we have the PA Experts cross. This play, I just like to put Watson here on a streak just to pull coverage so these guys can come open underneath. Watson himself, though, can get open against cover 2s and cover 3s up the seam. But blocking running back 2 is not a bad idea considering you might need the time, you might need the help. But it's really about these two receivers over the middle. You can also put Watson on a drag and do the same trick to Kimura. Just, you know, try to get a blocker, try to make that tight end a blocker and pull coverage, but didn't really block there. Next up out of the single back ace, we got the halfback toss crack. This looks just like the motion from the pass play, so you can disguise it easily and get a decent run out of it. One of the more effective run plays out of this particular formation, as you can see, he steals that edge. You just kind of get a one-on-one out in space, and it's a pretty easy run. Next up out of the single back ace, we have the skinny post. This play here, you just want to put Watson on a drag. That's all you got to do. Block the running back too would probably be a good idea. But you're basically just playing. You know, when that coverage gets pulled, it creates a window for this guy. Once the slant gets pulled, so yeah, all I'm gonna do is slant Watson, block the running back, or you can slant Hill. It doesn't really matter. But you're playing the you know, how it pulls coverage. If it doesn't pull coverage, you just throw it right to him. It's that simple. If it does pull coverage, you throw it to the circle route, or even the square route. They're all pretty much the same. But you can see right here, didn't pull coverage, so boom, you just hit him in the gap. So really easy play. Like I said, I forgot to block the running back once again, but you know, you just have, you know, multiple levels of options. There's also a scenario where Hill would be open, but that's probably not the most common. There, I don't know if that was a man, but he was instantly open. Next up, at the single back wing, I got the halfback stretch. This is a play that Eric Problem Wright was using quite a bit last year. It just has two tight ends stealing the edge, which makes it that much easier to run to, but there's no real adjustments. But yeah, this is, you know, you just have a huge blocking advantage. You can see the cutback lane there is pretty huge too. Next up, at the single back wing with a close PA cross. This here, we just have a high and low dragging tight end. I mean, this is a pretty simple concept that we've been doing quite a bit, but there's no real adjustments. You can put X on a streak, and he can get open against the center of the field, against cover 2s and 3s, and it also pulls coverages for the tight ends. Next up, out of the single back wing, we have the PA boot left tackle. This play's good stock. You can run it just like this. Your R1 route will get open right in front of you a lot of times for a catch and run. I probably could have took off the quarterback too and got just as much, but that is an option. So doing that, and then also you have the X route further up, who turns into a blocker the second he doesn't catch the ball, which is nice. So it's kind of like a one-man screen. I would suggest canceling the play action. You don't want the play action pulling you and getting you in trouble. If you set your feet, the circle route's pretty good too. I would have liked to waited, but the pressure was coming. But he is a good route. I mean, I like to roll out with my options, but even the square route coming back, even that 3 levels of passing is really nice. Run this one more time. Got my 3 levels of passing in front of me. Gonna hit that man beater. Hit that square route man beater. It's also a zone beater. Next up, out of single back wing, we got the halfback toss crack. Had a motion on a couple of different plays here, so this one should not stand out to the defender, should disguise well, and you just have a really good alley to run up in. No adjustments, just that's the way you really read it. Sometimes you'll have to get wide, sometimes you'll have to go up the center in that hole, but 9 times out of 10, actually, the hole's really the way. And then look at that juke through the 2 defenders. Let's go. Next up, out of the single back wing, we have the close PA sail. This here, all you're going to do is put the X route on a streak. That's it. And we got a really big play over here with circle. Gonna move this ball back. Experiment with this bad boy a bit. So this play here, all you're going to do is put Watson here on a streak. Block the running back, and there's your play. Roll out. Gonna hit the circle route here. I probably would have needed something. As he comes down, he sits down right in front of the cover 3 safety. You can also put Watson here on a streak. Out route Thomas and smart route him, and you can have a really big play that way. As you can see here, he just comes up the seam there. for a really big play. One play touchdown. So I'll run that one more time with this setup. And we have Watson splitting the cover 2. So he's a cover 2 beater. The circle route, I think it was. I'm gonna have to double check. The circle route's a cover 3 beater. You don't have to motion out, but you have your options. Cover 2 beater for Watson, cover 3 for Meredith for circle. Next up out of the single back wing, we got the tight end attack. This play right here, I just think that putting Meredith on a streak or an in route will help him come open underneath some of these other coverages here. As you can see, the tight end there, the coverage slightly drops off because of the oncoming receiver in the circle route. So that's pretty much makes the X route pretty good. And then you also have, you got to possession catch it, but you got to catch that one there. He gets open in front of the coverage too. Didn't quite hang on. We'll do it again. The X route. Here we go with the R route. That's a really good route. Not a lot of people know how good that route is. Like I said, I think that this, doing it like this is probably the most effective. I had the circle route covering right. The circle route's coming wide open, and then the coverage drops to him. So it's really a read between the circle route and the X route. One of these two are going to be open pretty much every time. So you have to pay attention to the user on that one as well. Around the other side, I think just put him on an out route would make him a good, deep or smart route would make him a good coverage 3 beater. But that's probably the best that you got there. And then, like I said, this tight end's really money. Next up, out of the single back wing flex, we have the PA Saints wide cross. This play right here, all you gotta do is put the R1 route on a drag. That'll help to get this running back open here. Typically, he'd be a blocker for him, but it wasn't exactly there. I'm going to pass block. If I motion over Watson, I'm going to pass block the running back. I hope that helps. But you can see how that pulls a window for the circle route if he's doing on the other side there. And he can get open too. I'm going to still drag the other tight end though for that check down. As you can see right there, the drag route pulls the coverage down as well, which is nice. So, like I said, if you're going to do this version, just pass block the running back, apparently. That's going to be important. As you can see here, creates that space. Easy money. And if he doesn't, you take the drag route. It's a real simple read. You're just going to read between the two. Next up, out of the single back wing flex, we have the halfback stretch. You can run this a couple different ways. I think one of the easier ways to do it would be to demotion snap this receiver here. You just have a lot of blocks. And you just kind of race into the sideline. Real easy. You didn't even get touched. Or you can motion it the other way. You can make it look like a pass play that I put out already. Where you're just going to kind of steal that same look. Oh man, we almost got it. I was trying, but it's obviously a good run. Next up, at the single back wing flex, we got the PA boot left tackle. It's another play. You don't really need adjustments. You're just kind of reading the R1 route off the circle route. As you can see, the circle route just gets wide open. They both were wide open. I don't know what the play was on defense, but they were both open. But 9 times out of 10, one of these two will be open. Like the R1 route, especially. I probably could have went to the other one though. To be honest, I probably could have went high there. He looked like he was open too. You're gonna want space. You're probably gonna want to run this from a hash mark though, so beware of that. So here we go again. Circle route was wide open, but I took too long to throw to it, so I still got the check down, and it still happened. Let's do that one more time. The circle route's pretty glitchy the way this thing's getting wide open, and then I just throw a bad ball, but it's all good. Next up, out of the single back wing stack, we have the PA fork. This play's real easy. All I'm gonna do is put Hill, the tight end, on a drag route. That'll make the running back a good option. As you can see here, the guy was supposed to cover him, but the play action got him, and he didn't figure it out in time. You can leave him like that, and then I like to also put Watson sometimes. Leave the tight end, the X route like that, and then sometimes put Watson on one of these out routes, and it can help. But this is a man beater route out here. Also, sometimes putting him on a slant's not a bad idea. As you can see here, he'll stop, and then you just have, it's just a zone coverage concept. I'll do it just one more time. I'll leave him blocking this time. And Kimura can catch and run and turn up field. Nice easy play. So probably, I think to keep the blocker, just go ahead and just do Watson like that is also an option. And like I said, I'm really looking for the running back. That's really the idea. Next up out of the single back bunch base, we have the PA end around. This play right here is real simple. You're just going to throw to the running back most times. If he's covered, pass lead him up though, and he can either get uncovered or you can take off with the quarterback. That's one of the better ways to do that. I would say slide your protection right since you're going to be going that way. The X route doesn't quite get open like it used to. Once again, like I said, he's covering that guy. You can go ahead and lead him up instead of passing, just take off if you have a more mobile quarterback. Like I said, the X route doesn't get open like it used to, but the square route coming across does a pretty good job of getting open now, especially since a user covered middle linebacker will probably be following the quarterback. Next up out of the single back bunch base, we have the Seattle. All I'm going to do is drag Thomas, motion snap Meredith. I would like to make the running back block too, but motion snap Meredith, and you have something that'll probably be, at the very least, you'll have this guy on a catch and run underneath the pulling coverages, at the very least. But I'm looking for either the tight end or Watson. I think there might be both tight ends. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm looking for one of these guys. You know what I'm saying? That's a big play up there. Either man or zone should, well, more zone than man, but it should work. I think Line's a fullback. I don't know why he's playing out there. But like I said, motion snap this guy. If it's a man coverage, this guy's pretty good. I should have waited though. If it's a man coverage, I want to wait to throw it later. And if it's a man coverage, Thomas is also going to work. But sometimes you'll have these guys, I don't know, he didn't catch it, but sometimes you'll have these guys wide open over the middle. The motion snap is to match the run play, where I'm going to use a motion snap too. It's not really helping the receiver get open or anything like that. As you can see, we're going to get this guy up the seam again. I don't know if they get a cover too. I don't know why the guy stops covering, but it's all good. I'll take it. Next up out of the single back bunch base, we have the halfback quick pitch. So all I'm going to do is motion snap like I was doing it in the pass play. And it's just going to help to get me on that edge a little bit. It'll just seal that edge a little bit better. So like I said, this is just help maintain that edge so you can get out on it. Some pretty good blocks there. Just a little okey doke, and he's almost gone. I use this play all the time on the goal line. It's just hard not to get a couple of yards with this. And it'll also force your opponent into a smaller defense. They can't come out in something huge necessarily if they see a three-wide bunch set. They're going to get beat. So it's just hard not to get that yard with this play. Next up out of the single back tight slots, we have the halfback pitch. Still the best running play in Madden. Still the best run play in Madden in my opinion, or one of them. Motion snapping this receiver just gives you. You know, he didn't really do a great job, but he tried. Let's give him credit. If your opponent overcompensates, you can flip it and run it to the side that the receiver's not motioning to. But I think it's obviously, it's best to run like this. As you can see, that 81 just gets out. It might not be as explosive as it was in years past, but it's still a great play. But like I said, if they're heavily compensating, just run it like this and then use the motion snap and make them think that's where it's going. The same. It's not going to work against the computer because they weren't compensating at all, but you get the idea. Next up out of the single back tight slots, we have the halfback wheel. This can be a cover 3-1 play touchdown too if you can get the edge. It's kind of a rollout TV, which you kind of have to get space, but this is not. So I'm going to go ahead. When I roll out, I also get the option of the running back, which is why I do it as well. I mean, because the out route holds the coverage down for that as well. So the rollout's kind of important, but if you don't get it, you got this route on the other side, the triangle route. You have the crossing route coming underneath it. There's also a way to run it where you just kind of abandon all that, motion this guy over and put him on a flat route, which is the way that a lot of times he'll just get open immediately for a catch and run opportunity. Not the hugest play, but it's definitely worth a couple yards. So I don't know if this is a one-play touchdown anymore or not. I don't really use it too much, but you can roll out the other way. There's just a couple different options. Didn't catch the ball, of course, like he doesn't always. So I don't know if it's a one-play touchdown or not, but you have a couple of different options. This triangle route on the backside is a pretty good one as well. Next up out of the single back tight slots, we have the bench switch. So in this play here, all you're going to do, motion over this guy. Put Watson on a streak, and that's the setup. I also want to pass block the running back. I don't want him to leave. I need him to do his job. So there we go. We have the X route wide open over the middle. It was probably a cover 2 because that's most typical for cover 2. So motioning over this guy. Streaking Watson. There we go. That's the setup. Pass block the run back. If it's a cover 3, this square route's going to be gone. Oh, he almost caught up to me. He almost caught up to me. He came back. I think putting Ginn on a smart route is a good idea too. So we'll go ahead. We're going to do that one time. That'll just help for the for cover 3s. So I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna roll out. I think it was a man blitz, and that's just easy money. It's wow, he's all Bobby Wagner all over the field. All right, so next play we're gonna do out of single back doubles is the PA slot crossers. Yeah, so I like the motion over Watson here. Pass block the running back because I don't want that play action. There's times where Watson can get wide open in the flats. As you can see, that's a man coverage. You just can't keep up with him. He has the ability to get instantly open like that. So, like I said, the play action can really get in the way. If they're playing off zone like this, it really takes man coverage to stop this consistently. As you can see, it's an easy 5 or more catch and run. Yeah, I also like the motion over Meredith. If it's a man coverage, if I come to the line and see it's a man, put him on a drag. And you're going to see how against man coverage this is going to be really huge. Against, you know, you still have this guy coming underneath under the zones too, which is nice. So if it's man, bring over Meredith and drag him. If it's zone, just move X route over. And then you can see how that guy just gets lost. He just gets lost covering those other guys. So here we go. We have our man. Still want to block the running back. But it looks like a man blitz. But we're going to have this guy just streaking open. If I can get past this cover 1 safety, we got an easy 1-play touchdown against man. Next up, by the single back doubles, we have the halfback toss crack. Yeah, I've done toss cracks out of a couple formations. They're pretty simple. They just crack down. You get behind this guy, he just chops. You know, you got a lineman chopping a cornerback. It's going to be an easy run. So nothing new here. So I'll do it one more time. Next up, by the I-form close, we have the drag wheel. Make sure to put a running back at the fullback spot. So, going to motion out Ingram here, pass block the running back. You're going to see how, you know, this is a full blitz, so it's a little bit, you know, a little bit easier than normal because they sent the house, but the circle route for that. All right, let's do this again. I said that little bit of a cheat can get this guy wide open in the flat. Just that little bit of a motion on the fullback / running back. So motion him out, pass block. There we got a cover 2 beater right up the seam right there. Did he fumble after? That was a catch. Bullshit. So Ingram's really a zone beater depending on the zone. Your drag route's open all the time, but like I said, I was hoping for something a little bit bigger. But he's always going to be there. Good pass protection too. So let's do that again. I said this dude's just wide open in the flats. I'm not sure what coverage that is, but that's dirty. It's an easy 20 yards. It's like stealing 20 yards. Oh, there it is again. I said that drag just forces them inside, and then you got a one-on-one catch and run on the outside. Next up, by the I-form close, we got the halfback sweep. So I've been motioning the fullback quite a bit, so I'm going to do that again. It shouldn't, you know, it should just look like the same pass play, and then you're just basically taking it to the sideline. Real simple, not a lot of adjustments. So I motioned the fullback on a pass play, so this shouldn't give anything away to your opponent. And if you can get that block, we're almost gone there. That's not a fullback either. I still have my running back in at fullback, so when you're running this play, make sure to put your fullback back in. It'll be best practices. And I didn't get the spin on, but you know what? That's a good play. Next up out of the I-form close, we got the PA boot flow. Good motion out the fullback again. That's one way to do it. I'll start off with that. cheating that fullback out. You can see how he's just wide open in the flats there. I probably should move the ball over though. A couple different ways to run it. Motioning out the fullback like the previous pass play is probably one of the better ways to do it. Here it's I don't know if it's a man coverage or what, but either way, tight end's wide open. He's the money route anyway. So motion out the fullback. Cancel the play action once the play starts. And then he's just wide open. That was a good blitz, but you know, got the ball out. Next up out of the I-form slot flex, we got the PA wheel shot. So this play, all I'm going to do is put Watson here on a drag, and he'll come open underneath these pulling routes. Yeah, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put Watson here on a drag, and he'll come open underneath these pulling routes. As you can see, man or zone, didn't catch it. It's all good. So I want to cancel this play action, put Watson on a drag, and Watson will typically come open underneath these pulling zones. As you can see, they're dropping back there. Weird catch animation, but it gets about 10-15. Do this again. Cancel the play action is important. Canceling a pre-snap. Canceling the play action is important. If anything, if this, you know, this circle route here, if they don't cover it, I mean, that's going to be a big play. If it's a hard flat or something, that drag's going to take care of that. Yeah, if you have a hard flat, this drag is going to keep that there. Or if it's a man coverage, you're going to see a play like that, big play. If it's a man or a cover 2 hard flat. That circle route's probably more effective from even further away. But you can see, like I said, man, cover 2, hard flat, it's gone. So you're really just reading circle against X. Like I said, right there they drop down on X, so that makes circle get wide open for a big play. I'm not even sure, it might not even be hard flats, it might just be cover 2 altogether. But definitely man though. Definitely man. So next up we got the halfback toss out of the I-form slot flex. So I'm flipping this ball, motioning out line, and this play right here pretty much just looks like an old school play that I used to run called the weak toss, which was a really good setup a couple years back. So we're just going to go ahead, we're going to run this with success. We're going to run it into the ground. It's just an easy play. You can run it the normal way, like if it's a man like this one is, just run it the normal way, and it's going to have a lot of success. But if it's a zone, I recommend flipping it back. You don't even have to motion out the fullback. It's successful just the same. It actually appears to be more successful just flipping it. So just a dirty run, no matter which way you do it. Next up out of the I-form slot flex, we have the PA divide. This play here, all I want to do is motion out my tight end, block my running back. I'll leave the R1 route where it is, but I think the R1 route would be better served like this, because I just want them to pull down coverage. I'm not going to be looking their way. And then this guy's open over the middle as a tight throw, but he's typically open later than that. The tight end, what he's doing, is kind of glitchy. I'm going to go ahead and rock him real quick if he's open. And you can see right there, get a nice catch animation, a weird one. But he can be open in those type of plays. So got a blitz coming. I don't know what the hell happened there. But I guess in a man they're just not going to read that, so that works. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is create space for that circle route. As you can see right here, when he flips his hips, if you throw it in the break, it's just an easy play. Next up out of the I-form tight, you got the halfback toss. No real adjustments here. just a really heavy run play. There's nothing really to it. You can motion out the fullback, I think, would be an option, but you don't want to give away the direction of the play that you're going, because that will kind of do that. So doing that, not necessarily a benefit, and it did make the run play better anyway. So just, you know, real easy. Next up, out of the weak wing, we got the PA tight end slide. Make sure you got a running back at this position. You're going to want to be to a far hash mark. You can motion this running back out. I don't find it helps. It kind of puts him on the radar for the defense. You can also motion in Thomas. I feel like that might help a little bit, pulling coverage back, but the play's pretty much fine right where it is. It's really all about this running back here, getting wide open in the flat. Putting the square route on a comeback might be an option worth you know, running, but as you can see right here, I mean, you have guys just standing wide open on the you know, 5 yards for catch and run space. So I'll do it one more time here. It's not covered at all that time. Probably was another house blitz, so you know, a couple different ways to do it. Next up, out of the weak wing, we got the post shot. So we're just going to motion in Thomas, which was an option on the previous play. We're going to, you know, just basically work the tight ends, although this square route can get open, as you see there. It makes a nice diving catch for a touch. But it's really about these tight ends, and motioning this guy in will help get those tight ends open. And he's just going to be opening up the seam too, because they're not giving him serious enough looks. So we'll do this one more time. Get some decent coverages there. You see how that they drop down for that circle route and they leave this guy to the safeties. As far as the tight ends go, you're just kind of playing the circle route against the square route. That's all it really is right there. And for whatever reason, he backed away. I guess he was going to that square route. They really play off each other well. Next up, out of the pistol bunch TE, we have the strong power. This play's really good. All you do is flip it. You're going to run behind your receivers. You can put tight ends where the receivers are to make the play even easier if you want to. As far as the pass play goes, the pistol punch TE cross drag is pretty good. You're typically going to follow the crossing routes, and then you're just going to hit the triangle route. That was a man coverage, so he's just going to get exceptionally going against man coverages. Your user might be smart enough to drop into these routes, so in that case, you're just going to have to take one of these drag routes and hope for a better catch and run. Against zone coverage, though, if the user's not smart enough to drop back, the triangle route is good against zone coverages too. So that play should work against man or zone as long as the user's not dropping into it. If he does, take a drag. Up next, out of the pistol bunch T, we got the verticals. So I just like to put Watson on a drag or a slant or a drag. It really doesn't matter. You can see that was pretty much a house blitz, so he got open right away. If you put him on a drag, I mean, the running back pretty much comes open on that route variation anyway, but they're at different spacing, so it's still worthwhile venture. And then these outside routes are pretty good too. The circle route's probably the best. When the user's following the tight end and the running back, the circle route's going to get open. Cover 3 would be triangle. On to the money stuff, the gun plays, the split offset. Is the Saints middle is a pretty good play. Let's go ahead and pick that. I like to motion out Kimura, get this guy open in the flat right away. Also, you can put this guy on an out route underneath these coverages because the coverage is probably going to drop back, giving you an easy catch and run. It wasn't the biggest play, but it's all right. Yeah, but Ginn's not always going to get open. He would be probably the biggest play, but he's not always going to be there, so that's why the running backs are important. Cover 2, the circle route can get up the cover 2, but it's not, once again, it's not always going to be there. Nice catch, nice play. Right at the cover 2 zone there. I would also say that Thomas might be better served on a slant. If you motion him in, he stops right here, which is probably more effective. In this scenario, you can also put him on an out route, smart route him, in route. There's a couple different things, but he's probably more flexible than any other route in this formation. Next up, out of the gun split offset, we have the halfback slip screen. I'm not a huge fan of screen plays, but I'll get on a screenplay like this where you can have the option of throwing to Ingram pretty immediately. I like that play much better, so you have an outlet. Because so many screenplays are like screen or death, where if the screen doesn't work out, then you're in trouble. So that's why, like I said, I like something that has an instant open route on the other side. Next up, out of the gun split offset, we have the X dig. So motion out Ingram the same way. I wish I had more space though. We're going to move the ball over. So we're going to motion out Ingram. It'll look like it's a flat beater once again, but you're going to see how he turns up the sideline pretty good there. You can see it also creates a throwing window for this guy, who makes a nice catch and almost gets into the end zone. Would have been if it was from 30 yards out. You can also put Ginn on a streak. I feel like that could help to create a throw window for Filmora. As you can see, he's just kind of getting to the sideline and getting a pretty easy play as he gets jammed off. I also like putting Ginn on a streak. I just feel like that'll open up the window to Meredith more. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to probably hit Meredith this time as he's coming open in between the two coverages and with a nice tough catch. So I'm going to put Ingram in that slant one more time. Try to get my man open up the seam here. It's just an easy catch and run. Not a lot of coverage on him. I think the best route to put Ginn on is an in route and then smart route it, and he'll do the most for both plays in this scenario. As you can see right there, he's just kind of getting in the way and creating that space. But the slants are really good one too. I think I just put him in a drag. So there we go. Easy catch and run. Easy yards. Next up, the only run play in this entire playbook, or this entire formation, is the halfback power L. Motion out the running back again. So it uniforms the plays, and then look at that, you got space. It's a good, easy run. I don't think that keeping him back is as effective. I like giving him that jump start. You can run it just like this. I find that motioning out the fullback gives him a little bit of a head start. But obviously, you know, the results of keeping it stock is pretty good too. Next up, out of the gun Y off trio week, we have the Saints deep in. All we're going to do is we're going to put Thomas on an out route and then pass block. I didn't mean to do that. Pass block the tight end. So I have a little bit of time. No, fuck it. I like to put Watson here on a flat route. That's pretty much what he's doing anyway, but I just want it to be a little bit more instant. And you're going to see he's going to pull coverage for the X route there and Ginn. Waiting for him to create that route on his own could take more time than I'm willing to give, but it definitely works to create space for this guy. So we're going to do that one more time. If the X route's open like this, you got to take that. It's an easy 5 or more yards catch and run. Do this one more time. As you can see there, it creates that throwing window. The route combinations create that throw. Next up, out of the gun tight offset TE, we have the Y out halfback swing. So all I'm really going to do is put Ginn on an out route, put Watson on a streak, and that's the play. Now the tight end, Watson, will get open quite a bit, but the circle route is going to be especially explosive. As you can see, he's a one-play TD against cover 3 there. Don't forget about your bench switch looking concept on the left side, because that's obviously a good play. And here we go, we got our man running free. I don't know what that coverage was, but it definitely got rocked. So Watson can get open too. You just have to, there's wide open triangle route right there. It's the only thing. Oh, let me get in. No. Alright, whatever. Big play. Next up, out of the tight offset TE, we have the Saints spot shake. All I want to do is put the X route on a fade. And that's going to basically create a one-on-one with this guy, which he can't flip his hips fast enough for a big play. I also want to put the circle route on a drag, just so he'll get open a little bit better. He'll be a really good check down. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to keep beating this dude up over the top. You just can't hang with him. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get a coverage mismatch. So we're going to do that fade. We're going to roll out so we can get a little bit of time. That underneath route's wide open, but you see eventually this guy has to drop back and take down the underneath route away. Eventually that guy is going to have to come back to that circle route who's going to be just wide open. And there we go. We just got a spot there. No. So fade the X. Drag Meredith. You can block the running back if you want. And we're just waiting for this guy to clear. And we're going to end it on that touch. Easy touchdown right there. Next up, out of the gun type offset TE, we have the inside zone. The inside zone, you're going to want to keep the inside zone in your arsenal. You can motion block a guy, but I can't say that it helps out too much. The best run play in this formation is definitely the inside zone. If your opponent gets too pass heavy, you have to keep them balanced with this. And the Owen trap's not too bad either. Next up, out of the gun tight offset T, we have the bench. So all we're going to do is motion over Thomas and put the circle route on a streak. You can also leave him the circle route the way that it was, but I think that this is a better look. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to have that right up to cover 2 there. If he can get going, that's what the streak is for. Cover 2 beater. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to do this again. I'm going to smart route again. The X route can get open too. I don't know, maybe this look here, but he's definitely an option. You got to keep an eye for the X route. I mean, this is also a bench switch. A lot of people like the bench switch. I'm not a fan, but you can run this as is. I'm making one play touchdown looks out of it, but there's definitely a couple more options. There we get the cover 2 beater again. You got to pass lead that inside and bullet pass it, by the way. So I'm hoping to get a cover 3 look here. This looks like it might be it. And it gets beat over the top the same way. I'm going to act like that happened. That didn't happen. He caught that and ran for the touchdown. Let's just put it that way. We're going to move on, but that's how the cover 3 gets beat. Next out of the gun bunch, we have the, where did I just see it? The verticals. So right here, all we're going to do is we're going to drag Thomas. Put Meredith in a motion here. And we can tell already we got this guy. You see how that guy dropped down for the drag route? That's going to make him get open. If no one drops down for the drag route, he'll get open underneath all of these pulling zone coverages. I thought he was going to stay, but it worked out anyway. I'll take it. If nobody drops down over Thomas, I'm sorry, if nobody drops down for Thomas, he's going to be open underneath all these, and then it turns into like kind of like a screen because they're down there blocking by the time he catches it. So let's go ahead and let's motion block this guy again. This motion's really all about getting open the X route, but if you see this guy, you got to take him instantly. He's your first read. Your first read's R1. Your last read, your check down is, ooh, he's open over there. That also is what the motion route's for. You try to get that guy open quick. So I guess really your first read is Meredith. You're seeing if he gets that open look, like he got 2 plays in a row right here. So I guess that's really your first read. But then your next read is what Watson's doing. He's just getting open every time now. I don't know what's going on there, but if he's there, take it. So we're going to do this one more time. Hopefully he gets covered this time. Yes, he does. And if this guy reacts to the drag, the longer that play goes, the longer he's going to drop down to the drag and then hit the tight end. So a couple different, ways that these guys all get open. Like right here, he just turns his hips and runs. If he turns his hips and runs, he's going to stay with him. If he turns around or if he's backing up in a pedal, then he's not going to turn and run with him. So a couple different plays. If you get a man coverage too, the R1 route is going to be one of the better ways to go. If it's a man coverage, the R1 route and the drag is the best way to go. Next out of the gun bunch, we have the Z spot and go. It's really more of a pro favorite play than it is a favorite play of mine. I mean, it's pretty much a stock look, but you can see how these slanting outside receivers get open. Can't say I really run this play too much, but if you practice it and you get all the adjustments down, it can be a real issue. This guy over the middle too is a really good mid read. This outside play, you kind of got to throw in the break and bullet pass it to get that separation. He won't get that separation on his own all the time. Next up out of the gun bunch, the mesh. This plays another one where you're going to dot somebody up on the outside. Pass block, block the running back. I don't want to have that, but basically you got your circle route to the outside. Unless they don't cover the X route, then you're just going to catch and run that for easy yards. But your circle route on the outside, your what is essentially 2 drags on the inside. As you can see, they're running man coverages, and it's just no chance for them to get out there before that gets open. It's really got to be a cover 2, and that's where you're going to have your challenge. Your challenge on a cover 2 is where is this guy dropping. Here we're just going to go ahead. We're going to just dot that up. That's real easy. I mean, that's a zone, but it's just easy to beat that. But this play is it's just pretty easy reads. You're pretty much looking to one side of the field, even though I doinked up his back. But it's really those 2 guys. And then like I said, they're not really drag routes, but you know, they're going to beat man coverages, and you know, you got them coming across one another over the middle of the field. One of them's going to get open. Next up out of the stack Y flex, we have the drive H wheel. This play right here, I did a couple of things earlier where I was motioning out the running back. That's going to be the same idea this time. I want to put Thomas here on a streak so that I can create some space for said running back. That's pretty much it. I should probably run it from the far hash mark so I got more space. I'm not catching so close to the sideline. So every little bit of yard counts for this guy. Now, if it's a man coverage, Filmora should be able to beat that up the sideline too. See if we get that. I mean, that's I don't know what that is. That's just unfair. You know what I'm saying? Like, that dude's trailing from a mile away, so I don't know. Maybe it was a man. If it's a man coverage, you're going to see those type of things. Gonna do it again. Man blitz is instant open, even though he didn't catch it. Really good man blitz beater because of how he gets open so quick, and he's probably going to be covered by a linebacker. He's just basically just sprinting to the sideline. That's the idea. So working the other 2 receivers, not too difficult, but I'm probably going to end up staying over here. I mean, for the most part, all the action's on this side. But let's try to get that triangle route. Get her done as we can throw in the break. And that gets the type of outside routes open, throwing on that break. This short route ain't too bad either. But it's not, you know, it's not explosive. You can get catch and runs out of it sometimes though. Next up out of the gun double Y flex off week, we have the sail. Yeah, this play, it kind of works the way that it is, but I just find that square and triangle get in each other's ways a lot. So just want to find a way to get them alone by themselves. You throw. I led that up, by the way, and bullet passed it over Bobby Wagner though. So like I said, you can run it like this. I just find like when you want to throw this ball, they kind of get in each other's way, and it's still effective. But ultimately, it's a pretty good play just like this because of that triangle route is pretty dirty. As you can see right there, he's just gone. I probably have a touchdown here. But that's a really good route this year, no lie. Next play out of the gun double Y off week, we have the Saints mesh wheel. Another play where you can motion out the running back. He's going to get open pretty easily in some space. And catch and run up the sideline if you got an athletic running back. That's another play like that. There's some pretty good routes on the field other than that. I like to motion over this guy, put him on a drag. If you got a man cover, this is going to be a pretty good setup. I don't really have that right now, but you can see how the triangle gets open. I tried to turn up the field a little bit earlier, that's why I dropped it. But the comeback route that Meredith is doing is pretty useless. So I like motioning him out. If I'm not motioning the running back, I like motioning him out to the other side of the field. And you can see how the guy in the middle is open if the user's following the running back. So Meredith doesn't do much for me. Like I said, if it's a man coverage, I love to motion him over. And Thomas is a pretty good route. That's a route that could easily get usered, but the way the drags are going, it's either him or the drags. So you really have to choose. You got double drags, which is tough to cover. So you have a couple of tough to cover routes in Thomas and then the drags. So double drags are always tough for the defense. So pick your poison if you're trying to cover both of these. You know, the double drags will catch and run. Piece of cake. Next up out of the gun tray open, we have a specific play for cover 2 beater. We got the dig and go. So on defense, we're gonna pick Tampa 2, which has the cloud flats. Doesn't really matter what type of cover 2 you pick, but we're gonna put Meredith here on a drag. I don't necessarily need too much space, but what we're going to do is we're just going to watch him as he doesn't quite commit to that route and he gets beat easily. What it really is I'm pass leading, bullet passing and pass leading outside once I watch that hesitation, and if he can get up that sideline, he can be gone. So, like I said, fade route. Doesn't quite commit. Bullet pass lead. You know what I'm saying? If he gets past that safety, he's gone. I would say a tall receiver probably is the most important part to this. But like I said, he just hesitates that little bit because of that zigzag coming back. And this is just easy money. And that safety, that's cover 2 safety. So easy cover 2 beater, and like I said, he can get going. He can take it to the house. So we're gonna. Next up at the gun tray open, we have the PA wide receiver in. This play here, I just like to put Watson on a slant because I'm just trying to pull that window for that circle route, and you can see how out of position that first defender gets. It's Bobby Wagner. He's getting out of position. So it just moves him just enough that you can come back over the top and hit that receiver. I also like to put the square route on a crossing pattern with Watson. Put him on double slants so that if he doesn't bite, you have some options there as well. There's a nice catch. So put them both on slants. First read is circle or R1. Having trouble talking, or R1 there. So double slants. Looking at the throw right away because it was a full house blitz again. So here we go. Does it create the window? No. So we're going to bullet pass outside. Did not create the window, so we saw the R1 route. Next up out of the gun tray open, we have the Salem. This play here, all I'm going to do is put the R1 on a drag. I can also motion out Filmora if I want to, but it's not 100% necessary. We're really looking at the tight end and the R1 route. As you can see, the tight end pulls back a throwing window once again for the R1 route. You can throw to Filmora. A user might not follow as hard to the backside that you know that this linebacker does, so you're just gonna have to throw over him. So you really have to choose one, and the other one's really the play. But like I said, Filmora, you know, he just kind of gets to the sideline too quick. But you can see how, you know, obviously that's a good play. So you might want to work Filmora to the point where the user starts paying attention to that more, and then you can hit him with these other routes. So it's really 2 sides to each play here. Next up out of the gun tray wide flex, we have the PA crossers. This play here doesn't really need any adjustments. If it's a man coverage, this circle route is going to be absolutely deadly. And even against zone, as you can see, that tight end pulls it down to the point where this guy gets past it. A really dirty play. I tried to pass lead back, or bullet pass and pass lead back, but it just didn't work out. So here we go once again. I guess this is a man. Doesn't really matter. He should be gone. I'm just like slight flubs. I'm not quite getting him gone, but he should be at 1 play. No adjustments to this play at all. So here we go once again. He's not going to be the man this time, so we're going to go back over across to the triangle route. Who's trailing? So one of these guys should be open. So a really good play to run stock, but I like to run it when all these guys are pulling. You have a really good throwing window right up the middle. I mean, you have a high and a low route there. You could also put Watson on a drag and pull that coverage down even more. But like I said, I like to throw underneath the pulling coverages with the X route, which is typically there pretty easily. And if the user wants to follow the tight end, there's so many other routes going on that's going to make them pay. Good Lord, look at this. I don't know what's going on. That was a zone as far as I know, but it was really busted. So a really tough play to cover. Oh, now we got that man coverage. Like I said, anytime you got a man, you just loft that up, and it's just as easy as a touchdown as you're going to see. Next up out of the gun tray Y flex, we have the fake screen wheel. This play, one plays just about everything you will see on defense. The triangle route's probably the most successful one. As you can see, he gets deep by about 10 yards. Even if you run a cover 2 and you mid-deep the blue safety, it doesn't matter. This guy here is going to get going. He's going to get past it as they catch him right at the goal line. Real heroes right there. Not a lot to this play. All you really have to do is buy time. And the triangle route's pretty much the guy floating him up there. I mean, he's just beating that by a mile. Next up out of the empty Y Saint, we have the flood wheel. So here all I'm going to do is I'm going to put Watson on a slant, motion out Alvin Kamara. He has a pretty good chance of getting wide open in the flat right away and turn up the field for an easy catch and run. If the user starts following this, you can motion snap him too, by the way. If the user starts following this to try to take it away, then the middle of the field will be open for the slant. You can also put Thomas on a streak. And against certain cover 2s, Kamara will be going up the sideline for some real easy yards. You can see how that pulls the window for the tight end though as well. Forgot to put that dude on a streak. It's all good though. I say he's got like 10 yards of separation and he's already accelerating up the field. So like I said, put this guy up for cover 2 plays. And you might see that guy get going against him. I waited a little bit too long to throw that, but you know what? It worked out. Bad posture and all. You could also put this dude, Watson, on a flat route, and he can get open against that quite a bit for an easy catch and run himself, but it's not the focus of this play. I have other plays like that. If you want to work Kamara in a different type of play like that, put him on a flat, and you're going to see how he gets open and it doinks off his back there. You can make that play with Kamara too, where you just put him on a flat route, you just flip the play, and Kamara will get open. A little bit better athlete can get open in the flat. Pretty much the same way, but obviously it's not as explosive. Next up we got the deep in. So I like to cross these inside guys. I like this play for goal line too, by the way. Motion over again. If he doesn't have somebody directly in front of him, he's going to get open to the flat. Now, I don't know why he stopped, but he's going to usually catch it and run. So like I said, nobody's in front again. He's going to get open. Like a safety drop down, so he's probably going to take that away. So I'm going to have to go to my my slanting inside receivers, which are pretty beast. Real easy. So he dropped down again, so I'm moving across. If nobody follows, he's going to be open. So nobody followed. So he keeps stopping. I think that's EA's way of fixing this when I put it out originally. EA always breaking my plays, man. Always breaking my plays. So right here, once again, we have what could be a cover 2. That guy shifted, so he's probably going to take that away. So I got to go to these slants, which are just as equally deadly. Next up out of the gun empty Saint, we have the Saints fork. So this one right here, all I'm going to do is slant Meredith. I can either streak Watson or put him on a slant. It really doesn't matter. If you streak him, he's going to be really good against cover 2s, though. I can already see I have the R1 route. That R1 route is just crazy good. As you can see, he's good for catch and run through double coverage, apparently. That's how good that route is. The triangle route is probably one of the more consistent routes, other than the X route here. When he breaks, I mean, he's just got that dude in his pocket, but he's facing him. He's right in front of him. You can also put Watson on one of these. You can, you know, he's pretty flexible. You can do whatever you want with him, but you know, that's if you're trying to get a couple of yards, that might be the best way to go. The tight end is really like an everyman position. It does whatever you need it to do. And then, like I said, the running back there, he'll get forgotten about because the user will be trying to stop these deeper routes. And then we got my boy back there. Probably could have caught and ran that, but it's all good. I usually possession. Next up, out of the empty Y Saint, we have the Saints Go Whip. This play, I used to run this play kind of different. I would motion over Watson here. I don't know exactly why I did that, but I would also slant Meredith. This was, you know, these are all good ways to do this. But for whatever reason, now it's like a really cheap play. You don't have to change it at all. Now you just kind of run it. And I guess the tight end kind of pulls the cover 3 safety aside and gets his pants pulled down because this guy just gets toast over the top. Like, there's no adjustments at all. It's crazy. I also like just slanting Meredith. You know, real simple adjustment. You can see he's just screaming open there. And the user has to choose between the triangle route and the tight end.